contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the World Heavyweight
Podcast.
We're gonna make
The World Heavyweight Podcast.
great again. Nerd!
Entering the ring at this time, your tag team champions of the podcast world, Howard Farewell. But we're just waiting for the wheels to fall off. Yes, 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 yes. Get rid of your six-sided ring array. Josh Rivera.
God does not want this podcast to happen.
You happy I brought my shovel to bury this segment?
What station is it again? Who gives a fuck?
Yabba dabba, shut the fuck up.
The World Heavyweight Podcast. You're just sitting there like you don't care. It's like let's do this. Like let's get this done with already. Welcome to the World Heavyweight
back.
Podcast. Yeah, we're back. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. If you're listening to this early when we put it, actually, I'm probably not going to put it up until Thanksgiving because we're going to that. We're going to a show in like an hour or so. We're going to be heading up to Poughkeepsie.
A weekend of shows.
Yeah. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I might actually release this on Thanksgiving, so everybody will eventually just listen to it Friday.
I know they won't
Unless
be
you have no
watching
family.
football, that's for sure. Did you see who's scheduled?
I don't even remember anymore because my team's out of the playoffs, so I don't care.
The
anymore.
Giants won versus
boy.
Kansas City. One
Oh,
team
no, that
that's
was Sunday.
Are you sure that's not?
That was Sunday already.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
thinking of
that's what pissed me off. That's why I'm out of the playoffs.
Oh,
Because the one team that doesn't have a fucking... Anyway, before we get into that...
I'm probably thinking of a different team. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Anyway, Giants are in there. Who
At
cares?
the WHPC on Twitter, Facebook.com/World Heavyweight Podcast. I, as always, Howie Farewell. That over there, Josh Rivera. But yeah, dude, this was a busy weekend. We had War Games, Survivor Series, Raw and SmackDown was pretty good. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot happening other than a couple of things on Raw and SmackDown. But an exciting weekend. But yeah, my team's out of the playoffs, dude. The team that hasn't gotten a win, this is how bad my season has gotten. The team that hasn't gotten a W all year long decides to figure out how to put up 137 points on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't done anything remotely close to that all season long. What do they do to me? Fuck that guy.
How close was that?
Not close.
Not even
Not
close.
Because apparently Alex Smith and Chiefs forgot how to play football against another garbage team. It's exactly what happened with the Giants this weekend. The Giants have been doing horseshit all year long. Horseshit. They've been hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. And what do? Put up a win against the team that I need them to. But I think everything is locked now for the playoffs for anybody that's in that league. I think the only people that have to really worry about anything are the 2, 3, 4, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 positions. And they're just trying to figure out who they're going to be playing in the first round because, as sad as it sounds, a team with like barely 1,000 points to their name all season is somehow in first place. Oh, I'm sorry. He's got 1,200 points now. But, I mean, he's like, if any of the teams that were in the division that I'm currently in, which would be Nerds for Brawn, Glorious 11, New Face of America, or myself, would be kicking the shit out of that other division weekly. Like, the point totals aren't even close except for the house. Like, the house has like 14, is one of the only teams with 1,400 points for, but I have 1,400 plus points against. And it's not like I'm not putting any points up because I almost have 1,400 points for. It's like, what the fuck do I have to do to get a win around here?
Easy. When the Eagles are routing teams, have them throw to your guy.
Well, they did, but the play got called back.
Only twice, and one touchdown got called back. And I looked it up. It's the other team I screwed up with. Redskins.
The Redskins are
Giants. Redskins. Who cares? Chargers versus Dallas. Who cares? Really?
Yeah. Well,
I'd rather watch
Chargers
Minnesota
need a win.
Detroit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'd rather watch that.
That's the good game for Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody watching American football on Thursday, that's the game you want to see.
Absolutely.
Because those teams are fighting for first place.
I didn't think I'd say that this year.
No,
or any year.
With the NFC, the amount of teams that are really good this year in the NFC were like half crap last year. You got the Vikings, the Saints. The two of those right off the bat. Like, well, the Vikings were a playoff team last year, but the Saints were. I didn't expect them to do anything this year. Like, I traded Drew Brees away because I'm like, he's too up and down. Well, because he's just too up and down. He's not ever consistent. He'll have those games where he'll put up 400 yards, but he'll also have those games where he puts up like 35. You know what I mean? So, in other news, we have to. Neither of us have a title anymore.
Give it away, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't give it away. It came down to the very last match of Survivor Series, and I'm going to have her on later on this week, hopefully maybe Friday, and then I'll post that on Monday or something. But Lola Bradbury, won her first ever Stone Cold Locks title, so congratulations to her. What?
I believe. What was it? What was the deciding factor? I think
The
we're almost
final
down in the
match.
main. Yeah, we're
It was
down in
the
the main
main event
event
for the first
You were
time.
pretty sure you were walking away with it.
Yeah, until we got to the main event.
Yeah.
Once I realized the main event was going in tied, I'm like, oh, this show's tied? Yeah, Raw's winning this.
Yeah. No, main event was going to make it a tie. Yeah.
No, if the only way I would have won is if there was a clear-cut winner going into the main event. It was a tie on Raw going into the main event, and it was a tie on our Stone Cold Locks going into the main event.
Oh,
as well.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So, my brand loyalty got me pretty far, though. It got me to second place this week in Stone Cold Locks. So,
where's your trophy? That's right there.
nowhere. Take that, sir. And you missed. So, let's start off this whole weekend with the way better show.
The first show.
War Games was fucking awesome. We've got a lot to talk about.
It was Brooklyn 1 level good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think I turned to you after and I said, I think NXT is back now.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
That should put them back on the map.
Well, until Monday and Tuesday, I kind of went, well, yeah, I kind of agree, because right now we're at this place where everybody on NXT, we're expecting to kind of stay there for a while. I'm not expecting anybody that's on the roster there to move up anytime soon. And then we get 5 people come up.
Yeah.
up on Monday and Tuesday.
And in defense of that decision, they have a lot of ladies.
They do.
So many that they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough show to feature all of them. So it does make sense. And the ones they chose made sense.
And we'll get to that as we get into the Raw and SmackDown stuff. But how great was War Games?
Awesome.
It was way better than I was even expecting.
Awesome.
And I thought it was going to be pretty cool.
It lived up to the hype.
I think only two quote-unquote down matches was the women's 4-way and the opening match.
I wouldn't even go that far. The opening match was exactly what it needed to be.
Oh, yeah.
Ono needed to look great because delivering all the elbows.
Yeah.
And Lars just pummels them. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was an awesome opening match.
And then the promo that he ends up cutting backstage for .com is pretty great too.
You're gonna see
dude
that.
is terrifying.
You're gonna get that music next show probably.
Oh, probably. But the music that we really, really needed for this show is this one.
Velveteen Dream. Hit it.
You just started right from the beginning.
Yeah.
It goes a little far before you get any vocals.
Yeah. I don't care. It's the Velveteen Dream.
What a coming out party.
Are you?
Well, there's really it.
No pun intended.
D-R-E-A-M is Velveteen Dream. D-R-E-A-M is.
Where's the volume on the jukebox? You turn it down. There. What a takeover match.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
It's the two guys on the show that aren't just people. It's the two competitors that are way more characters than they are your typical WWE superstar, in the way that Goldust is a character and not just a superstar, in the way that John Cena is John Cena. That's a guy. That's a man.
Exactly.
That's a man.
Exactly. Nobody had to, change any of their looks or dumb down a little bit of their mystique to, fit with the feud.
What I mean is,
it was just all character, and it was awesome.
It was great, dude. Those tights that he comes. First off, he comes out looking like Pocahontas, and it was one of those things where I'm like, you know what? I don't hate.
He
this.
looking
it
like
looks
the
absolutely
looking
ridiculous.
like the Indian from the YMCA videos, chaps and all.
And it's one of those things where it. Like, as soon as he comes out and he looks ridiculous, it's not something that you go, oh, this is stupid. I'm like, nope, that fits.
Yep.
Immediately
It's
saw
Texas.
it. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, nope, I love it. I love it. It's great. There's nothing wrong here. This is going to be wonderful. And then he starts zipping down the tights, and he's got Aleister Black's giant head along his thigh.
Little red horns on
it's
him.
Wonderful. the ravishing Rick Rude. It pays to be a wrestling nerd sometimes, because that's all that was. It was just him taking bits and pieces from a few other heels in the past. Like, that's.
You remember
all
how
that's
awesome
ravishing
Rick Rude was? Let me show you.
Yeah, exactly.
Working the hips.
It was perfect. And the story throughout the entire match, back and forth, and like kind of stealing each other's moves, and
buddy of mine told me it felt very old school. I was like, exactly. Did they had one crazy move, and that was a moonsault off the ropes. Outside of that, it was all grappling and strikes.
There was a couple of flippy things, like when Aleister Black does that bounce off the middle rope backwards.
That's what I'm referring to. He does that little flip, and then he did the moonsault,
right?
Where perfectly timed caught Velveteen. It was awesome,
and it was just perfect storytelling. Like, that's how you can do a feud within 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks or so. Get it super hot, and then execute flawlessly. That was flawless.
That was the best. That was one of the best feud payoffs.
Oh,
seen
for
in a
sure,
long time.
And it was all about it never became about Velveteen Dream trying to win the match.
No,
really, it was never
not
really,
at all about that.
It was all about him just getting him to say his name.
He just wanted the acknowledgement that this other out of this world character recognizes himself as an out of this world character.
Right. And I showed Velveteen Dream to Nick. And
Nick
he's
the cop.
like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I could get into that.
That's pretty cool.
And it's just everything about the Velveteen Dreams. Like, from the moment he started showing up, I'm like, oh, I'm totally in if he goes all in
And
with
completely like not doing any interviews.
Oh, yeah.
Velveteen would like to talk. No.
You want to talk with the Velveteen Dream?
Not looking like that. And then he just constantly teasing like I'm gonna give an interview soon. It's gonna be something everyone's gonna talk about.
Right.
And when does his interview happen? When he interrupts Aleister Black. And and then right off the bat, we're like, oh, this could be really cool. The build was intense, and then
hype package got you hype.
Oh yeah, and then the match itself
was one of the best matches I've seen in any company all year long.
3 years from now, I think I'm gonna go to you and be like, hey, do you remember that Velveteen Dream Aleister Black match from War Games? It's one of those because it's a really classic.
And I don't think it's necessarily done, per se.
Not necessarily.
It kind of is. I mean, they did a little thing backstage where Velveteen Dream had a little Backstage.com interview. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. And his response
still quite
was,
taken back. Like,
yeah, his response was, he said my name. He said my name. It's all really good. It's going to be very, very interesting to see where both of them go forward from here. Because they're kind of they've kind of squashed this thing, but they're always going to have that. So I don't necessarily know that we're going to have them together in anything anymore, at least for the near future. But it could come back around at any time.
I think it may be rushed depending on timing this year, or even if they do it. If they do another Dusty Tag Team Classic, how excited would you be for a Velveteen Dream Aleister Black team?
I hadn't even thought of that.
Right?
That sounds like a brilliant fucking idea, actually. I would love to see that and kind of do it sort of the way this Finn Balor Samoa Joe thing went, where they win the Dusty Classic and then they have a bit of a falling out, and then you go into Mania, because that's usually when that happens. It's like right before Mania.
Yeah, it led right into their feud for the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
I like that a lot.
Timing may not be bad, because if they do Dusty Classic, it's typically doo-doo. If they do have the Dusty Classic, it's what, mid-December usually.
Yeah, so like I said, it's usually like around Rumble.
They could push that to January if they want. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Just use an angle like that. That would be something awesome.
Yeah, the fact that you even brought it up, because I completely forgot. To be honest.
Did they do one last year?
Yeah, because the AOP one. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And then that put them onto their platform to get the NXT titles.
That's right.
So we're
the
due.
First shark cage match we saw.
Boy.
We were at that one. That's
yes,
right.
we were.
Yes,
we are
right.
due. And those guys are TM61 should be back soon too. Remember them?
They should be. Yeah.
That they've been gone almost a year now. Because I was just looking on the memories. The NXT Toronto was about a year ago.
Yep.
So they haven't been around since then. So those guys should hopefully be coming back around so we can get a little bit more variance in this tag team division. Or did they get released or something and nobody said anything?
No, injuries.
Oh, okay. They're both, and hopefully
when your tag team partner gets hurt, guess what?
You're sitting on the shelf too.
Unless you're Matt Hardy, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, pretty much. The women's match, very good. I mean, was there any other matches that besides the War Games and the two? There was 2 championship matches.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream, Lars, and Cassius, and that was it, right?
That was it.
Cool.
That was it. 5-match card.
Women's match, very good.
Yeah, it was actually
wasn't amazing, but it was
probably
very good.
It was one of the better multi-women matches they had at TakeOver. In my opinion,
I kind of really wish Peyton would have won, just because it would make a little bit more sense heel-wise. But you kind of also get the sense going into this match that this is Ember's to lose.
Yeah.
There's really going into it when I'm sitting there and like, yeah, if Ember doesn't win this, it's kind of going to be a shock.
Because you're going to see in the clips, and then either she's going to get a pin or someone's going to steal it.
Yeah. Well, that was what you said last week, right? That
yeah.
you thought
I was like,
I
felt the ending coming real close. I'm like, clips, and then maybe like I was still on the fence of whether or not it'd be like Peyton or Nikki. I was pretty confident it wasn't going to be Kyrie.
Yeah, that'd be. You even said it sort of, but that would almost. And I kind of agree. Too much too soon.
Very much.
That one. I mean, she's just too new to just strap the rocket ship to her right now. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Kyrie is a treasure and should be protected at all costs.
Yes, but these other ladies have been here longer.
And then, so we have Ember Moon wins a title in a pretty good match. But considering some of the other matches that we saw that night, it was not.
Yeah.
It was just
after that second match. I'm like, good luck following this, ladies. Damn.
Seriously,
good luck everybody following this.
I said that on Twitter at the WHPC on Twitter. Oh, also we're on Instagram as well, and my phone has a working microphone now that I have a brand new phone. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I can actually do a little all the neat things that everybody's been doing for about a year or so. I can now do again.
I thought it was funny enough when as soon as you start using the camera, you're like, oh my god, this is way better. I'm like, yeah, man. Welcome to 2017.
But what I was saying, Kyrie, Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know. I lost my train of thought. You're supposed to keep track of this.
I'm not keep track of everything. Yeah, you said.
I even said on Twitter that good luck. Like follow that. Follow that match. That Aleister Black and because it's impossible. They did a very good job, but I when Asuka comes out also to a kind of ceremoniously hand off.
She said, "No, I'll do it. I'll do it."
Like, oh me! I kind of almost wanted her to just spin kick her in the face and go, "No, it's mine."
Oh, that would have been so terrible to be like, "Oh, in your moment is mine." Still undefeated.
Yeah. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Then we get 2 new champions at War Games as well. I'm still kind of shocked that Almas is champion right now.
Right? He went from just look at him from a year ago.
Oh yeah.
To where he is now. What a change a year has been.
When was that Roderick Strong CN match? Was that Brooklyn?
I believe that.
Or was that a different
Brooklyn
show?
was. I don't remember. You'd have to look it up. But yeah, he went from just doing the. Because I remember, I think one of the last jobs he did was one of the cruiserweight guys who keeps popping up. San Antonio. Okay, yeah, that was definitely a while ago.
Yeah, but even then, like that's when that match was what I called their coming out party. That was April, unless that's wrong.
That's January.
That's just
January. That was Royal Rumble.
Sorry, yes. Yeah, that was their coming out party because you can kind of see. It's like I even said it then. Like holy shit. You talk about guys that can compete when it's big match time. CN's one of those guys, and it's just been a matter of time before we finally gave him the opportunity to get into that spotlight spot.
It's how they did it. They had to tear him down. They had, he was already over. You know, he's 100. CN, you know,
kind of.
But yeah, they had to tear him. They turned him heel. They had to tear him down, loss after loss. Before
and then built it into something instead of just losing. Instead of just losing, they made something outside of the losses.
He lost, and then they built this story on social media that the loss didn't bother him. He's going right to a party. Where's CN? He's still messed up. And then it was
starts coming around with the
and
ladies.
then there was those segments with I think the Iconic Duo or whoever. And then before their interview can finish, you just hear CN and Selena screaming at each other like, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
Oh no, I think it was just some random.
Yeah, it was
woman.
some whoever.
It was some random woman that was sticking around a little too long.
Miss, what was that argument we were having with Amos? And it's just like, never mind right now. And then that relationship formed.
Yeah, then one day she comes
brought
out.
him back.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
and it was the best. Again, it was what did he even say? The best thing that could have happened to him because now he's the champion. Since she's been that catalyst for the turnaround is perfect.
Yeah.
And now you have this story of this guy coming back around and on the come up, and then you even said it. He might be the longest guy that's been in NXT that's been on TV. Like he's been around the longest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As far as because there were the criticisms of Takeover and the entire weekend how a lot of empty seats at Takeover. They
I don't know how
only
you
put out
translated that to an empty seat.
Well,
thing.
because well, I'll tell you right now. Well, it was because they've had to move so many giant stars out of NXT the last 2 years that they've had a little bit of a falling off as far as takeovers go.
Right.
Remember
this goes
Brooklyn?
back even to your point about it being back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That wasn't a jam-packed house. Brooklyn 1 was jammed to the gills. 2 little less, 3.
It's also
like
it's also
a
what
giant
happens when
section.
It also kind of happens when you know you're getting it every year.
I disagree because the Barclays the next night had way more people for SummerSlam. It was because NXT was kind of falling off with their star power, and they had to really build guys. And I turned to you and I said, "Who's been on this show the longest consistently?" And I think it might, outside of injuries, it's got to be Almas.
Or like AOP, but not even them.
They're still rookies, bro.
Yeah, because everybody else has kind of been brought up. You're right.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have
Cassius Ohno left and came back.
He left and came back, so that
didn't
really count.
Back. He's still new to the show, but
Absolutely.
As far as singles, not including the women, I think you're right.
Yeah, it may when you look at that from that picture,
but he's coming up too.
He's going to 205,
and he hasn't nearly been the focus of the show because of injuries and stuff.
Yeah, he just started coming back, but then I guess Creative didn't have anything, which is why he wasn't featured on Takeover.
Yeah, and then he's going to get bolstered. 205. I don't know. I think it might just be on one of those shows that it's just too much wrestling now. By the time it gets to 205.
What do you mean?
It's just too much. I get to a capacity at some point. When it comes
No,
to
I
wrestling,
totally understand it. That's why. Really, you got to try to watch try to get as much clip versions of some of these shows, because sitting here and watching 3 hours of Raw painstakingly, 2 hours of SmackDown can drag sometimes.
Sometimes
it can sometimes
still
drag.
Think it's a better show. I don't care what anybody else
And NXT, we just eat it up real easy.
Oh yeah.
205 Live is only
nice little snacks.
205 Live is the same thing. It's a nice little snack, and it's becoming a better show with the Zoe Train, and I turned to you. I said, "Did you hear about the Gobeldy Gulacker?"
As soon as you said that, if the vision popped into my head, I'm like, "Oh no, this could be the greatest thing ever."
You asked me what it was, and I was like, "It is exactly what you think it is."
Fucking gobbledygook just sounds like crazy. I just think it's one of those things where it's almost too much wrestling. That's all. But the show is getting bolstered quite a bit. There's a lot more talent on it.
Yeah.
I think the downside is it's only an hour show. You can only do so much on the show.
Yeah, I understand that, which
and
is
then
why
when you get a random 8-man tag on Monday Night
Raw.
Yeah,
which is why wait, what's the what are we talking about, NXT or 205 Live?
205.
Oh, 205. I mean, that's a show that's struggling, and I'm sure it does still somewhat struggle, but it's improving. It's definitely improving as a show.
And I agree. It definitely is, because I'm paying attention to at least specific characters or certain people and things like that. Because Gulak is one of the greatest things on television right now. Like, from the PowerPoint presentation, being
my PowerPoint presentation. Oh yeah, he's getting PowerPoint chants. Who else gets those? Nobody.
I do also appreciate he's one of those guys that anytime he's on air and he's about to say something, he's immediately interrupted.
Yes.
There's just something so entertaining about a heel getting interrupted like that all the time.
And he just goes up to the end zone and goes, "You know what? I get it. I'm a woke man." What?
Gulak be woke. But going back to the McIntyre-CN match, a great fucking match there,
An awesome
too.
match.
It's just a great title match, and no one, I'm telling you, no one saw CN walking out of there with the title. If you told me that CN's gonna win the title, I would have thought you were ridiculous.
Out of your mind.
If you told me with all sincerity that you knew that CN was gonna win that title match, I'd think you were crazy.
I mean,
just because it didn't feel. Drew hasn't had the title a whole long time.
No.
Whole long time so far,
Couple
right?
months.
He won it from Bobby Roode. He had the match against McIntyre. He had the match against Strong on NXT, and then he's had CN. And that's it. So I was not nearly expecting him to lose it so quickly. And then he looked like he tore a bicep.
quite possibly.
At least there's no real other real information out there about it. So anything that you see,
I forgot to Google.
stay away from the Sportskeetas or whatever the fuck that nonsense website is. The 1434 Facebook group. Go eat it or dick over there too, because they're probably just gonna clickbait you to hell on it. There's no real information, at least at the time of our recording, which is about on Wednesday at 4 p.m. There's no real information other than he's got to wait to hear back from the doctors on his bicep.
He still has to get an MRI as of a couple days ago.
Right.
But yeah, I just did another double check. We don't know yet until we know. But
just
hopefully,
like the dumb news that was the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens getting sent home on the UK tour. It was no fucking news. That's what it was. There's no news. There's nothing out there.
A little weird that they
stick to the nerds. We know what
you
you should pay attention to. Right now, there's nothing to pay attention to.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate now that a guy.
Hopefully, it's not that much damage, because worst case scenario, it's 6 months.
At least that's the
it's
best
6 months
case.
off the bat.
6 months is almost best case Not everybody's John Cena. Not
No.
everybody's taking like 2 months and coming back. That's if you depending on the severity of the tear of the bicep. That's something you use all the time, man. You just use it all the time. It's a key part of the arm, and to reattach that and have that heal properly, and then be put under that wrestling schedule. Not let alone an NXT schedule, but you have to lift men up over your head. That's not a small feat to do.
No.
Like, it's a lot of work, and so you want to make sure it's back at least 90 to 100%. So it's at least 6 months if it's a torn bicep. If it's less than that, you could probably see it somewhere between 4 months is a really good, hopefully. Like 4 months, if it's not too bad. If it's just like he just jerked it out and it's pulled, or I don't know. It's a lot of speculation.
You gotta feel bad though, because
you gotta feel.
You could
real
tell
bad.
he was not in a great. It was
man.
not looking good right off the bat. And then a backstage interview, he had his head down the entire time. It's just like, yep. Looks like I might. He won. Looks like I might be hurt. We'll see. We'll see once I get it looked at. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, and it's really disappointing too, because now you kind of had this feud.
Yeah,
because he's got a guaranteed rematch, so you've got at least 2 to 3 weeks of television.
It wasn't like 2 months ago. We were getting the story of Drew McIntyre achieving his dream. He disappeared. He disappeared for a few years. Worked his way back. He says, I'm going to be NXT champion. As soon as he got it, a couple months later,
he's on the shelf again.
He's on the shelf.
And it's just disappointing, because you know that this was going to last until Rumble. There was no doubt in my mind that once CN got this title, that we're getting this feud or story or some variation of it with CN and McIntyre and maybe somebody else in the picture going to at least December, January, somewhere around there. So maybe have something crazy at the Rumble. And now the guy might be out until fucking April. You know? It could be that bad. So anyway. But congrats. Somebody mentioned something. I think it was the other Josh from the Football League. He said, I don't mind CN winning, per se, but he has the personality of a piece of cardboard sometimes. And I kind of agree. That's why Vega is with him.
Yeah.
But my counter to that would be, just let him speak Spanish. It's like the Shinsuke thing. Let him speak Japanese and have somebody translate it a little bit on commentary or something. It sounds way better. And if you do it right, I kind of get the gist through context alone. And we happen to live in a fairly high dense population of Spanish folk as well. So it's not like we don't know a little Spanish ourselves.
It's only the second most popular language in the country.
But I mean, yes, but there are lots of places in the country where there's no dark people.
At the same time, like, the reason why he doesn't have much of a personality is, outside of him, the only thing you see is him losing and then pictures of him partying. Yeah. Outside of that, they haven't had.
Well,
any
I also think
really
that he's still learning English. Is the problem? So he's not great at English. Which is why I'm saying just let him speak Spanish more, because even when he's spoken Spanish on the show,
put him on TV, let him express himself.
It sounds beautiful, and when he's pissed, it still sounds great. And I just get. I understand what puta means.
I understand. I know what it doesn't matter what language you speak. A face of a pissed off person looks the same.
But even when I've seen some Japanese promos without subtitles or anything, you can get the sense if their character is doing their job. Like when we would watch some Nakamura promos, and it ended up showing. Let me finish, or else I'm going to forget it all.
Well, hurry up.
When you were seeing some Nakamura promos, even I was saying it as it was happening. It's like, oh yeah, you're great, you're good, but you're not me. And that's essentially what was said. Like if you go through the highlights of the thing, it's like you can just tell these certain things if they portray their character with body language too. So just because they don't speak English
on camera, the only problem with Japanese promos, the major difference is a lot of Japanese promos are read like poetry.
But that's the same thing with Spanish too.
They'll have that go on for a while. It doesn't. Point is, he he needs to be on TV more.
He does.
Now he's the champion.
So he's
this isn't going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Not going to be a problem at all.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about seeing CN anytime soon. He's going to be a fairly major part of the show.
Yeah.
For the next few months.
He's the guy for a while.
Oh, you see that thing that he's holding around? Yeah, he's the guy. I love what you noticed when he was at the he was so excited that he even threw when he
went to lift it and it just went over his head. He's like, "Oh shit."
but but that even made that so much better because you also have that extra level of, in addition to not giving a fuck or saying not giving a fuck, because that was the nice little thing there too, was when he lost to, what was it, Cesar Bononi or some other jobbery type guy, that he got pissed off when he lost. He got really pissed off, but then acted like it didn't matter.
He just kind of blew it off.
Blew it off.
Nah.
And then in this whole thing, it's like, he tried to make it even through all this time, I'm going to show everybody, but you really get a sense of how much it means and how excited he was to win by how much he was losing it when he won the title.
How loud the crowd popped when they were like, wait, that's 3? Oh, my God.
Yeah. And then you have him pointing to the plates. It's like, these got to go.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of these. These are mine.
No.
Yeah, I won. This is mine.
I turned to you and I was like, is this the first Mexican-born WWE champion?
NXT champion. Right? I think NXT champion.
I thought maybe it might have been, was Del Rio born in Mexico or he was born here?
Del Rio's the one.
Okay, he was the last one.
Yeah, no, Del Rio's definitely the one. If you're looking, if you're looking for somebody that can, even if he's not the second, if you're looking for the guy that would it's Del Rio.
Yeah,
Del Rio's the Mexican-born one.
Oh, okay. Well, guess what? This isn't Del Rio. This is way better.
Right. There was plenty
of way better.
There were plenty of jokes made. It's like, oh, finally a Mexican-born wrestler that can be champion that I can agree that I don't hate
that I don't have to feel that I don't have to defend. There you go. That I don't have to feel embarrassed about
or have a moral fight in my head of whether I should cheer this guy or not.
Yeah.
Because of how much of a alleged hunk of garbage he is.
He doesn't have that baggage.
Oh yeah, Del Rio's got a lot of fucking baggage. God, I still can't believe TNA is running with him again.
Ooh,
because you finally saw what the promo.
Yeah,
was
did
about.
you go? Did you go back?
No, I'm not going back. I'm not going out of my way.
Yeah, with Del Rio getting physical with with commentary people,
not a good look.
Is uncomfortable. But you did see in Botchamania when he's confronted backstage. Hey, do you have a response to what Johnny Impact said? Johnny who? And he gets dove into by Johnny Mundo. That was great.
Anyway, moving on. War Games, the match itself, the match beyond.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't hear it the first time, but going back, hearing that tagline not once but twice was pretty hilarious.
That's what they called.
Yeah,
when everybody
it's the original tagline
in the thing was the match beyond. So you had to get to the match beyond the match by surviving War Games until the time when somebody chooses to quit or die or whatever. Neat little wrinkle this time for the War Games match. I also watched you watched it too. The stacked cage War Games 2000. Don't do it, folks. It's not a good idea. It's fucking terrible.
They just kept going like, it's been so long, and then I'm like, what was the last one? I go on the wiki.
Yep.
2000 Team Russo, and I don't even have to remember who else was in there.
It's pretty. Have you seen Ready to Rumble?
But
it's that.
But the best part about the Wikipedia explanation was it gave you the finish, and then the finish was Nash. Vince Russo's team wins because Nash walks out with his championship to retain. The problem was, when you go back and watch it, it's a giant cluster, 3 cages stacked on top. But the funny part was in Wiki, it says not officially sanctioned War Games match.
Yeah, because nobody wanted to actually attach
but it
the name to
doesn't
that
really
nonsense.
matter.
They called it War Games 2000.
Yeah.
But this one was awesome. This had Adam Cole, Bebe. I think we're gonna have to make that a game where we just say Bebe anytime somebody says Adam Cole, or a drinking game, Bebe. Sorry. And if they don't, they have to take a drink or something. The one little wrinkle that I was getting to was no top to the cage. Everybody started, as always, on Twitter, freaking the fuck out for no reason. Like, it was announced, oh, there's not going to be a chap on your cage. Shut up. Let the match happen. It hasn't even happened yet. Yeah. Nothing happened. This is the same thing that's going on with the ladies that just got brought up, too. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing's happened.
Just wait.
Let's just wait.
Just wait.
If, like Jinder Mahal, a month and a half down the line, it's hot fucking garbage, then fine. But let's at least wait until it happens. Because it ended up being one of the craziest fucking matches I've ever seen.
In a WWE show.
Yeah. But the wrinkle was no cage on top. And the other secondary part to that
so
was
no roof.
If you tried to escape the cage,
yeah,
you lose.
That was the immediate angle of like, well, here are the rules. Oh, and by the way, if you leave, your team forfeits.
Right.
There you go.
Great.
There you go. You can have a higher production show because that's exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. Have you seen the original War Games cages? They look like garbage. You can't even see inside. And the fact that the roof was so low, you guys are there's some stuff you can't do.
That too.
That's what it was.
They were just strapping fucking pieces of fences together that they bought at the Home or whatever hardware store.
It was thrown together.
Yeah,
thrown together.
And now that you have this, by removing the top, also it allows you to get better camera shots.
Absolutely.
Because if you have the roof on top, you don't have any cameras going up.
How cool would it be if they started covering it like little sky drones, kind of like ESPN, just like going over the battlefield.
And most arenas have the ability for that to be set up, but they might worry about sight lines. I think might be a problem. But for the one night, I think you might be able to do something like that.
Go for it.
But I'd love like the legit like wire cam thing that hangs like over in football.
Yeah.
The sky cam. That would be awesome for a match like that, or even into a what should we call it? Like a Hell in a Cell, you could do that, or a regular cage match.
It's like when people got upset when they saw the new Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I don't
know. It's because they took a lot of the steel out that was hurting guys.
Yeah.
Duh. And they made it, and they put way more production into it. That was a lot like what War Games was. It was like a more updated version of what it was.
I mean, visually it was cool for those people who never got to see one before or were never alive when they were good. This was perfect. Like if I'm going to say, like if they're going to make, and this is not something that they should do every year. Like don't do this every year.
No.
This should be rare. It should be one of those, once every 5 years, maybe, but you got to make it come out for a real reason. Like, it shouldn't be like Hell in a Cell. Now, I don't really care. Hell in a Cell doesn't mean anything to me anymore because it's every year. There's no real reason other than it's on the schedule and we're going into a Hell in a Cell match. Hell in a Cell used to be, hey, we hate each other so much that we need to put it in the fucking Thunderdome. You know what I mean? And to have something like that every year would be really silly because there's only so many times that you can get 9 people, if you're going to do it this way, or 10 people together that are not only good enough to pull off a match like this, but make it mean something, too, on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this didn't necessarily mean it felt a little slapdash put together still, but you had Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Killian Dane, a.k.a. Big Damo, all in the ring headlining a WWE show. For all of you nerds out there, you should have been excited because those 4 names were in a WWE ring headlining a big WWE show at a big, quote-unquote, Big 4 pay-per-view weekend. That's no small feat.
Absolutely. You just kept. Yeah, I had to let you keep going. I was like, man, how long is he going to go for?
I don't know. Sometimes I get on a roll.
It was an awesome show.
It was a great match.
I agree. In a sense, like I hope they. How many War Games were there before this one? 30.
That's a lot.
Arn Anderson was in 27 of them.
Oh, right. That's what happened. You
What?
you heard how many Arn was in, and you're like, wait a second.
No way they're
27?
because they go all the way back to the NWA days. Apparently,
Well, that's when it started, but I didn't realize
Yeah.
there were that many.
there were that many. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because you can only imagine it must have been like buckets of blood and like maybe
yeah.
every single one.
And there was just the right amount of violence, weapons,
Dare I say blood?
and we did get some.
Yep.
We got a little bit more. See, that's what I
Goddamn.
did. Like, we accidentally got blood, and we accidentally got way too much of it. Because he Wolf looked like a gunshot victim at the end of that match. After that, because he got the AOP table spot off the top corner.
Yep.
Like before we get into the blood bit. That was probably one of the hottest points of the match because you got each team. There's enough time for in between, and then each team gets brought in. And my two favorite spots of that match was, one, the AOP throwing everybody at everybody from one ring to another. Even when Roderick Strong, I'm sitting there like,
I'm on your team. Just gets hurled like a cannon.
And the rest of Sanity joining in last because Wolf jumps in immediately. Like he's going to be able to fight everybody off, and we're all wondering, well, what the hell's going on? This guy's going to die right now. And like, oh, wait, I brought a friend. And he's got a nightstick, and he starts obliterating
It's one of those retractable ones. So you see go,
I
and
don't
I'm
think
like,
it was a retractable one. I think that was one of the old Big Boss Man style nightsticks.
Oh, it definitely was.
It retracted on him?
Oh, it
I didn't
retracted.
see it.
He flicked that thing out, and it retracted a little bit. I was like, they're in trouble. And then he just like,
Yeah, because it looked like the Big Boss Man one to me. I thought he pulled it out of his pants or something.
It was gimmicked.
And then Killian Dane throwing everything into the ring.
Trash cans, chains.
There was really at one point
I feel like the tables were definitely not planned. It was just like,
no,
let's
those
get
were
tables
planned. They did spots, well planned out spots.
Only
with them.
because they were first. One was actually set up in a corner and then never used, and then the other one was just slid to the side, and it sat there until they came up with a spot for it.
But
they
he had
put
to
them all next to each other.
But what I think also because it didn't feel like that was because it felt more like Killian was like, fuck it, we'll bring him in, we'll figure out what to do with him later.
I think that's what actually happened because you don't normally do two tables for just a back suplex off the corner spot. You're normally good with just one.
I guess.
And having two might have aided in Wolf getting sliced open.
Yeah.
But as
kudos
awful
to
as
that guy.
was,
Excuse me, dittos to that guy.
dittos, maybe. All the dittos.
I love
MVP of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that he took a beating.
He took a beating, and even though getting sliced open sucks, man, it really added to the match.
It was the right amount of blood. Like it actually no, it was. Sorry, it was too much. It was the right amount of violence, but if that match didn't have blood, I would have been a little annoyed. And I know that that debate rages out there, but War Games somebody needs to get cut open.
Yeah, like seriously,
Like,
a little bit of planned blood isn't a bad thing.
I don't need buckets.
You know what's a
because
bad
it
thing?
sometimes is too much.
A lot of blood by accident. That's a
Yeah,
bad thing,
yeah.
and that's what we almost saw.
Yeah, and we like even the reactions on Twitter was like, "Oh shit,
Ooh,
there's a lot of blood over there."
Someone's getting staples. Probably.
So, before we use all of our time on War Games, we should probably. But the Undisputed Era wins. So Adam Cole, Bebe,
Finally, they're
Kyle
cemented.
O'Reilly.
They're finally cemented as undisputed.
as at least contenders to anything they want now.
Pretty much.
So I'm really curious to see what happens with all of this going forward because AOP still needs a rematch, right? Technically, they still need a rematch for their titles, I think. And now you have the obvious contenders to anyone in the Undisputed Era. But you want to talk about a great show? That was it. Survivor Series, very good.
Pretty good show.
Very good. Yeah, pretty good. More pretty good
Pretty
than
good.
very good.
Pretty good. I wouldn't say very good. It's pretty good. Yeah. Very good was Takeover War Games. Survivor Series was pretty
Takeover War Games was excellent.
Yes.
That was that was way above
Let
good.
me put it this way. War Games was top shelf.
Oh, absolutely.
Survivor Series was the good well drink.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's when the top shelf stuff goes on special. We're like, oh, yeah, give me that. Survivor Series, good show. Not the worst thing in the world.
Super freaking long. Good luck. Good
Unfortunately, real fucking long.
Real fucking long. And not to jump ahead, but there's even word that there's going to be a fifth really freaking long pay-per-view next year.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. It's dual branded. That would be why.
We will see.
There's
see. Plenty of things to speculate on that one. Whether you're going to go with 4 fucking Money in the Banks,
there could be 4
which is
briefcases.
way too much.
That's a lot of briefcases.
too much.
It's a lot of hardware.
It's just too much.
Right.
That means you have to have 2 ladder matches, or no, 4 ladder matches. No,
Nah, it doesn't need to be a ladder.
I don't
match.
need 4 ladder matches.
I don't think there needs to be a ladder match to determine a Money in the Bank every single time.
Why not?
Well, men,
that's
the
the whole
men
point.
Money in the Bank ladder match is kind of traditional. Do it for Raw. Do it for, maybe the same, if not a little different, for SmackDown. Women doesn't necessarily have to be a ladder match every time. Even men doesn't have to be a ladder match every time. But there should be one at least, just one.
I think keep it at 2, and then do cross-branded competitors, and then do a men's Money in the Bank.
Do a tournament.
Do a men's Money in the Bank with 6, and 3 from each show. Do a women's with 3 from each show.
Exactly.
And whoever wins has claim to their top titles contract.
I'm sure. Unless they're actually going to go ahead and actually make time for a tournament, they'll probably end up just doing a ladder match because it's the easiest thing and the quickest thing you could do. And guess what? You got everybody. Right. You got everybody on the show.
Qualifying matches will probably be the best we get, but I don't know. Money in the Bank tournament would be great. I would like that.
We'll see.
too.
I'm sure those
I'd like
details
to see
will come out next year.
But yeah, 4. You can't do 4. You just can't because I won't care. By the time you get to the last one, I'll be like, yeah, I've seen this already.
Yeah, it's just they get all 18 on us.
Too much birthday cake, Josh. It's too much birthday.
Your
cake
Money in the Bank
is.
contract just comes in a flash drive.
But it's like, you have too much Halloween candy. You get too much. You eat the whole birthday cake by yourself. By the end of it, you just get stomachache.
Diabetes.
Right. That. Yeah, you get diabetes, and it's not good. And then you lose a foot, and then you're wondering why you're here.
You end up with the conclusion that wrestling took your foot.
Anyway, your favorite match from Survivor Series?
Brock Lesnar, AJ, dude.
Yeah.
It was just
wow. I would counter maybe with the Usos and the Bar was excellent.
That was an excellent tag team match.
Excellent tag team
Absolutely
match.
excellent.
The Shield versus New Day was good, but I think everybody maybe blew it up to maybe being bigger. And I don't think we were expecting it to start the show.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I showed up. I got in
Showed
about
up late, and you're like, "Wait, I missed the Shield already."
Well, yeah, because I got out of work at a normal time, like normal people do, not expecting the show to start at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I did. Yeah, I missed like the first hour or so. I had to go back, but that was weird. Starting it with the New Day Shield match, and then a five ladies elimination match,
which was good. Wasn't great, but it was good. I mean, no one's ready, and that was the most important thing to come out of that was Asuka needed to be sole survivor, and once I saw that, I'm like,
she had to get some of that mystique back.
Brand loyalty is going to be a tough one here, but yeah, Asuka has to beat what I think she ended up getting. She only got 2 eliminations, right? Or did she get 3?
I honestly don't remember.
She got at least the 2 that she needed to finish the match. Because it was 2-on-1, and we're like, all right, we might be able to get her. Nope, no one is ready. Which leads into Monday, and she gets Dana Brooke, and that match happened exactly the way it was supposed to. Dana Brooke was thinking that, nope, no one's ready, and I'm happy because they're doing exactly what I wanted them to do with Asuka. Beat just everyone on the way up.
Everybody.
Don't make it no one is ready, so it doesn't matter. She doesn't need the title right now. She has to make everybody believe. She needs more wins to make everybody understand. No, she's undefeated. No, she's never been pinned or submitted.
Yeah. Well, they took that away with her first big match against Emma because it was like, wait, why is this really a match? It should be a stomp.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting that back a little bit.
Yes.
So now we're gonna say, we can even say she's got what? It was 507. We're almost can say soon that she's 600 something days if you combine.
Undefeated.
Right. So and do all of that. And the best way to do that is beat everyone on the roster. Anyone you can think of. Do they work here on the regular basis? Are they considered a Raw superstar? No matter how low on the totem pole, make her go through each and every single one of them in that same fashion and have it become progressively slightly more difficult each time that she fights another one, because as you should be climbing the mountain, it should be getting more difficult as you go to the top until you get to your title holder, and still no one is ready. Give me that fucking title.
2 buzzsaw kicks.
Right. Sometimes you need
Counter
to,
rep.
but there's no John Cena of the division. She's
Ding,
John
ding,
Cena.
ding, ding. She is the John Cena
Right.
of the division.
So that was great. I like what they're doing there. They've other matches. I was not expecting The Miz to lose. Not expecting that at all. And they really don't seem to be doing anything with Baron Corbin with it, so I don't know. And then The Miz loses the Intercontinental title on Monday because I think he's doing the Marine 7.
Yeah, 18, whatever number it was.
2030.
I got to start watching him if I'm going to
Marine
make fun
Pie.
of him. Your first reaction for Roman winning the Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah. My
Yep.
initial
Yep.
But I understand it. No, I get it. Like, it should happen. The Shield needs to have all the titles.
They should.
They should.
They should be. It feels like
I just feel
it feels like trios are starting to take over on WWE.
Yes.
And they should be start holding some goddamn
right.
gold.
If you have factions at some point to be a successful faction, you should be champions. Because that's how you measure success in the WWE,
That's
right? By championships.
That's what that's what most of the industry is doing right now. So WWE kind of going along with it is really cool.
But yeah, I just feel like he's a little too big for the IC title, but at least as they're a faction, it gives them a title to have that they can. Would you rather
the Miz disappear for a month and a half? Like what was it? Last year, I think it was. He did Marine 5. And it took.
So we're at 6.
And he was gone like 35 days. He wasn't on TV for over a month.
And he still had the title at that time too.
And that was right after that 4-way at Extreme Rules. That title was red hot, red freaking hot.
Yeah,
and then they cooled it off because he had to go.
Well, and then
movies.
this'll should
keep it going.
Should keep it going, but we saw what happened. Because my only hesitation is because we saw what happened when we gave Roman the United States Championship.
And then what happened about a month after that?
He dropped it.
He dropped it because he was going after the Universal again.
Right, but again, I just feel like he's a little too big, but he's not
WWE Championship. That's what
right.
It was.
I just feel like he's maybe a little too big for it, but it makes sense in this area because no one's beating Brock Lesnar anytime soon.
Nope.
Yeah, AJ versus Brock went about the way I thought it was going to go. Great match, but AJ's got to lose.
Man, he was manhandled.
Yeah, it was so good though too. And that's when you get Brock with a guy that can wrestle like AJ can, and a Brock that gives a shit and really wants to go.
Kept selling that leg all the way through the back.
Good.
All the way
good,
to the
man.
back.
Real good match. They'll probably put that under their vote for this as their match of the year. I still don't think it fits into ours, though, at least for me. Or I know a lot of other people will disagree if you have to consider other things. But, yeah,
I consider
it's good, but not
a
great.
nominee, but as of right now, it doesn't. I don't think it breaks top 5.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I would almost put War Games. Well, War Games is a little gimmicky and spot heavy and very aggressive, so a lot of people will disagree with that. But I still think you have better matches in the WWE. Anyway, what else did we got? We had the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match which was long as shit.
Oh yeah, as expected.
Real good. The problem that everybody was having was, oh, we're going to go with the same 3 guys at the end of the match again like we've had every year. These guys are old. They've been around forever. Yeah, that's why they're at the end of the match, because they are superstar. They're the top tier of top tier. And one guy is going to be,
and there is
you got
one
3
thing,
Hall of Famers in the ring.
And there's one thing inaccurate about that. There was only one rookie to put over, and that was Braun Strowman.
Not necessarily, because what I hear in that is what they should be saying is like, look, you've got guys that are new to this company that you're trying to get. They
don't need it as much as Braun Strowman needs it.
No, I disagree. I think they need it more than Braun Strowman, because Braun Strowman has just recently been a made man, so we shouldn't have anything to.
I don't think he's made.
But he fits in with Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Finn Balor, I would argue, to a lesser extent, and Samoa Joe.
Disagree.
But with Randy Orton, John Cena, Triple H, whatever, they don't need anything. But they're there because they're who they are, and they should be beating lesser beings in this world like those other guys.
They're top guys.
But not a whole lot of people are still just getting to know Bobby Roode. People are, as far as the WWE main audience goes, they are still just getting introduced and getting familiar with Bobby Roode. Honestly, I really haven't seen Bobby Roode that much on TV lately, so I might have forgotten about Bobby Roode a little bit if I'm brand new and I've never seen him before. Same thing with Shinsuke. Really haven't seen him on my television a whole lot with a whole lot of focus, let's say. So I don't really know who those guys are per se. You know what I mean? So that's where that gripe is coming from, is they want to see the guys that you need to see a little bit more in bigger focal points of the match going further on to the end. But the reason you can't do that is because you have 3 fucking Hall of Famers and a monster in the ring.
I think Bobby Roode said it in his segment the next night, 2 nights later on SmackDown. It was my first Survivor Series.
Right.
It's gonna be one of many.
Yeah,
and
we hope
all that really turned out to be was about, because as soon as they announced Triple H as the 5th guy, immediately the storyline was going to be about him. It was gonna be about him. He was gonna be a main factor in the end of that match.
Yeah,
didn't see him faking on Braun, who didn't think that was funny.
Yeah, that was the one thing where everybody's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
But then as soon as I see him go to like pedigree Shane, I'm like, "Oh, I get it." Make him think that he was turning on them last minute, and
after
then
he pedigrees Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And we're all like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Which ends up see, that's where I don't like the follow through, because confused Braun is adorable.
Oh yeah. Oh, the gears were turning. There was a little smoke coming out, but not good news was going to happen.
I'm not finished with you.
I did the math, and the math is and
the math is Braun.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I did calculation equals 2 power slams to you.
Right. The only thing that I didn't really like would be on the next night on Raw is the follow-through there. Is that nothing really happened on Monday between Stephanie, Triple H, and Kurt Angle. At the end of the day, we're still exactly where we were at Sunday night.
That
for the most part,
frame with all 3 of them there is going to be a big match, either Royal Rumble or possibly WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's a WrestleMania match I don't mind.
They're not going to start it now. That's going to start later because there's so much freaking time between now and then.
Here's what Triple H and Kurt Angle at WrestleMania does for all the people that are kind of upset at people getting their spots taken or whatever. That gives you a marquee matchup that doesn't fuck with anything else on the show on a regular basis, because the next night neither of those people have to be there. That's an amazing showcase match that doesn't need a whole lot of story to bring
one of 15 matches possibly in WrestleMania.
It's going to be a 6-hour show at some point.
Oh, it's going to be
it didn't end until midnight 30 last time.
It's going to be a 2-dayer. It's going to be it's going to be Hellfest. Is what it's going to be. We're going to have bands start playing. Why not?
Why not?
It's everything.
But Yeah, that was the biggest gripe from Survivor Series was like those guys lasting that much longer. I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is. Finally, the only real... Well, but my point is that the as far as story-wise going and the following through, they really didn't do anything. It just ends with now we have this weirdness between Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie, and Braun wanting to still... The Wookiee still wants to tear arms off is what happened, you know?
Yeah.
And there's been no resolution, so we got to tune in next week to find out if they're going to go any further with this Braun Strowman thing.
Weeks.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what goes forward, but we really we had Sunday, and we really didn't take a full step forward with anything afterwards. Is what you know what I mean? Like we only
not in that department.
We only
not
kinda, like,
in that department.
just
That angle
step forward to
only changed a little bit. That story changed just a little bit. Other departments had some development.
Yeah, yes. The biggest one in both women's divisions.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Oh, we got ladies. Just one? No.
All
5
of them.
more, too.
All
what?
of them.
What?
All of them. On Monday, we get, I think...
The setup was perfect. It's like, we're going to have another fatal 4-way to determine the number 1 contender.
This is where I was rolling my eyes, and I'm like, ah!
And fucking Alexa was like, I can.
Right.
Damn it.
Right.
This is ridiculous, Kurt.
It is. And mid-match, Paige shows up. And apparently,
She goes, I am back. I can't allow this to continue. I'm sorry, but this has to stop now. Enough with the madness.
Yeah. Yeah. I just was surprised at the pairing on Monday night. I was not expecting Sonya Deville or Mandy to even be sniffing the WWE big shows in any way, shape, or form for quite some time, to be honest with you. But in their defense, they've been in the Performance Center for like almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
They've been there as long as the Velveteen Dream has.
They've been around the block. They got some matches under their belt.
They've been
So
on.
boom, let's form them.
They
Team tough
have
enough.
been competing on just about every house show you can think of. Like if there's an NXT house show, they've been on it.
Oh,
And
they've been on all the
it.
Florida circuit ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they've been doing little bits of TV here and there. I'm not sure the reasoning for why they're together. Hopefully, we'll get an idea of what that is next week. My only thing would be, I would have just done that intro a little different instead of having, the match happen. Like just have Kurt Angle.
I'm
go.
telling you, man, it wouldn't have been as big of a surprise.
I guess
if it was just boom right off.
Wouldn't have been as big of a surprise if I was fast forwarding through the whole
thing. We were
thing.
going in expecting it, so immediately when it doesn't happen, we started fast forwarding, and then suddenly Paige, I'm like, whoa, stop, back it up. Damn.
And then the next night, we get to see Naomi getting her hair did and her makeup done.
Talking to a girl about
That's about stuff, and
You know.
I was working, but we had the TV in the room, so I'm sitting there, I'm looking up at the screen, I'm like, what the hell's going on with Naomi?
And then
And
she
I
just
look
turns
down and I write something, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Ruby Riott!
Yeah, what?
Oh my God!
My first was like, Ruby, why are you here?
Ruby Riott!
Yeah, why are you here? Right, bro. Ruby.
Oh, you're an idiot.
And then I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, you know me. Here's my friend Liv. Liv, what are you doing here, Liv? Oh, and here's Sarah. Holy shit, it's Sarah too.
Yeah, and they start wrecking house
Yeah.
and attack the women's championship match that happens that weekend. I have no idea what they're doing with the women's division now.
I think didn't you text it? Possible split or
my-
tweeted it?
yeah,
Possible split
the
invasion.
Only idea that I had, which is probably too good of an idea, but I'll say it anyway, is Paige is really running the show between both of them, but she can only be on one show at a time, sort of thing, and
There's
she's
this thing called
doing the whole
FaceTime.
thing. So maybe
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, I think that would be a cool
I mean,
idea. It just
right?
it just could be coincidence, but I love the move more on SmackDown, just because I like SmackDown more. Probably that's why it is. But and it's two of my favorite women's wrestlers coming up too. So, I mean, I don't really have. I don't have an opinion
I
on Mandy or
I think
or Sonya yet. So.
I have a really good feeling that's what they're going to go with, considering those two have a history, and they can. And it's just it could be it would be awesome if it was Paige, just doing a dual invasion.
I would I'm okay with it.
Yeah, just the same way NXT did to her 2 years ago with Charlotte and Becky. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess I could see. And they did target Becky and Charlotte pretty hard there too.
Oh yeah.
Becky did not look good after that attack backstage.
I have a feeling they were given orders. Oh yeah, destroy the fiery redhead one. and the giant blonde, smash her in the face too.
Yeah, I just love Ruby Riott as a heel now because I'm not used to seeing her as a bad guy, and we're definitely going to see that. And she can take a beating too.
Yep.
There is no one that can take a beating quite like Ruby Riott. And I'm just
I like how that only
it's a
works.
nice shot in the arm to the division. Too.
I like how that only works when we're talking about our favorite wrestlers. Oh yeah, so and so. Oh, amazing! Nobody gets their ass beat like her. What? What are you talking about?
The other thing that is definitely immediately now getting thrown out into the ether is Women's Royal Rumble,
tag division possibly,
and the tag division.
I like a tag.
Do
division.
they have enough for a tag division?
That's
the biggest question
they
here
have
before
enough
anything
ladies.
else.
It's just a question of whether or not they're going to do that.
Do they on both shows?
I think they might.
I don't know,
They might
dude.
to start something.
You pretty much only have 7 on SmackDown.
If it was
and
booked
you add 3
like
more, that's still only 8.
If it was booked
9.
like NXT, it would be doable.
And it's not though, so we have to throw that away.
Maybe they could be going more in that direction where ladies division. All right, well, we'll let you book it this way.
But if we just think about just numbers more than anything, you've got 9 women on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough.
Start.
Because you need 2, 4, 6. You need just about 8 women.
Unless you do trios.
You need about 8 women in general.
This is
going to run a tag division.
This is going to be more trios matches. I feel like
maybe
because
for a little bit.
End of those segments. Who
just
is
to introduce everybody?
3 ladies.
Yeah. They're gonna just for a little bit. We're gonna see some of that just to get everybody introduced with everybody. But tag division, I don't think there's enough because how many teams would make a tag division? Not 2. You need more than 2.
How's Raw and SmackDown been running the last 2 years?
But that
at most you see maybe 3 tag teams.
You need to establish at least some friendly pairings of people. They don't necessarily need to be part of a faction or anything, but they need to be people that are friendly.
Like you said, we're probably going to see some trios action just to get introduced, get things warmed up, and then when it's time, they're gonna some of them are gonna split with each other and form bonds with other superstars and work with them.
Ladies Royal Rumble, I feel like is
forced.
Yeah, it might be.
I think it's a little forced.
That if we talk about numbers, I think that's more easily done. You just do a smaller size Rumble.
You can get
with
20.
Women. Can you get 20?
Yeah, you can get 20.
Because you got what I said, 9 on SmackDown.
You can get up to 30 because the amount of women that they
30?
can just, the amount of talented women they could just call. Hey, I need you to show up for this Royal Rumble.
Well, on Raw, there's the 4 that were in the attack, the 3 that were outside, your champion, and I feel like I'm missing somebody else. Asuka, and Dana Brooke. So you've got 10. So you've got 19. You throw in somebody that hasn't been around for a while, maybe, and then make that. You can make that a 20-woman Royal Rumble. So that's at least feasible.
Yeah, it's doable.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I see them doing that more than they would do a.
I'm sure if you open the
tag division.
You open up the phone book. There's going to be
find somebody.
Plenty of names you can call to make one if you want.
But Nikki Bella isn't around. Nikki Bella can show up for one match in the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's
it's not like she's gone.
There's plenty of names.
Right. So I feel like a 20-women Royal Rumble could definitely be doable. The problem is the Royal Rumble is a big show already. Do you want to make that longer by adding a second Royal Rumble?
If it fills those 4 ridiculously long hours.
It's going to fill 5 hours. You know that's what's going to happen if they do that, right? Because the Royal Rumble is already 4 hours. Because the Rumble match itself is about an hour alone. And then with how they're doing, that's going to be a cross-branded show. So that's every title is starting to be up for grabs. So it's going to be like a mini Mania almost.
That's what these are, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big.
It's big.
Good.
Good with a T.
It's I love how
G-O-O-D-T.
he spelled it out for us. G-O-O-D-T. Anyway, I think that's it, right? I don't have too much else that I can remember, right? We're well over time. I know that for sure.
We're over time. Well, New Japan has got a World Tag League just started. We'll get back. We'll check into that a couple shows from now when we get further down and when we start to see who the top teams are. Because I'm always interested in semifinals and finals. Jericho Cruise is getting more announcements. That's not for another year.
Not for another year,
but you
got
to announce those people now. So they're announcing a bunch of Ring of Honor guys, some New Japan guys possibly.
And, yeah, I'm good. At the WHPC on Twitter, Instagram, twitch.tv/the going to be trying to, theoretically, I'm still always trying to do more for that.
See if we can get around to it.
Yeah. I'm kind of want to do maybe some post-show thingies and just kind of like talk after Raw and just fire up the stream and do some stuff.
It is a holiday weekend.
Yeah, holiday weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You know.
You're just like, what?
Yeah, you know.
At the WHP on Twitter, Facebook.com/World Heavyweight Podcast. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you like the show, review it. Tell your friends. Give us the retweet love anytime you see one of those tweets or something out there. And, help us out. I'm Howie Farewell. That always, Josh Rivera. See you next week.
Stadler? Yeah, what?
Is that it?
Yes, it's over. How'd you like it?
I don't know. I slept through the whole thing.
Well, you didn't miss much.